You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. All right. The break-in by the feds at Mar-A-Lago, it's getting more and more crazy, and it's getting more and more out of control. And there is breaking news about some things that were seized. And let me read this. And the President Trump, has commented on this headline. Let me read the headline.
Thank goodness for Truth Social.
Oh, listen to this.
He has a platform.
Trump now, this is from the Daily Mail. Trump now claims FBI agents seized 3 of his passports during the Mar-A-Lago raid. And I know what you're saying. How could he have 3 passports? It makes perfect sense. We'll get to it in a minute. Donald Trump claimed his passports were stolen in the FBI raid at Mar-A-Lago. Mm-hmm. If true, Donald Trump cannot leave the country. Okay, now here's how he has 3 passports. He has an expired passport. Mm-hmm. Okay. He has his regular passport. Like, mm-hmm. A lot of times you get passports expire every 10 years. You have to get a new one.
Right.
And you still may have your old one. So he has his old expired passport. He has his regular passport, like all of us have. And then he has, because he was president of the United States, he for 1 term already, second term coming, but because he is a president of the United States, he has a diplomatic passport.
Which is red.
Yeah. So they took
red. The other 2 are blue.
They took his expired passport, his personal regular passport that's in the blue, and his diplomatic passport. Nice. President Trump has commented on Truth Social. This is what President Trump posted on Truth. Wow. In the raid by the FBI of Mar-A-Lago, they stole my 3 passports. 1 expired along with everything else. This is an assault on a political opponent at a level never seen before in our country.
He's right about that.
Third world. Okay, now.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah. Now, let me get back to the Daily Mail article, then we'll talk about this. Trump likely, this is what the Daily Mail says, has a regular blue passport issued to U.S. citizens and a red diplomatic passport issued for official government travel. Mm-hmm. He would have received a diplomatic passport as president. I didn't realize that they really needed that. I didn't know they needed a passport.
Do they get those diplomatic passports stamped? Do they even stamp passports anymore?
I've been to so many countries that have not stamped my passport. It's crazy. Sometimes you can ask if you want to go through the
I wonder
hassle.
if he gets his stamped, if they do that with the diplomatic ones.
But right now, President Trump is unable to travel outside the United States. They have seized his passport. Now, here's what you got to think about here. My guess would be that the passports were in the safe. I know Eric said the safe was empty, but typically people do keep passports in safes and lockboxes.
Well, he didn't have them with him because he was in New Jersey. So he was not carrying them with him. So they were back at home. Maybe they went through Melania's closet. Maybe he kept them in her underwear drawer. Or maybe they went through his. If they went through her closet, they went through his.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So maybe he kept them in his closet, like just in a drawer.
Well, who knows?
That's where most people keep
they were
their
at Mar-A-Lago, and now President Trump says they have his passports, which means he can't leave the country. So here's the question.
Insane.
Here's the question. Why did they take the passports? You take passports so someone can't leave the country who you're going to arrest or is out on bail. Sometimes we have to surrender a passport
like he's a
to get bail.
Risk. Give me a break.
Well, no country would take him now. If Donald Trump, without his passports, if he decided, you know what, I'm going to go to Scotland to check out my resort over there, Scotland, if it came out today, because this story just broke, right? So if it came out today that President Trump was visiting his golf resort in Scotland right now, they would immediately say, they'd be breaking news on CNN. Donald Trump has fled the country. He is on a flight right now to Scotland, and they would put pressure, the media, the Democrats in Congress and the liberal mainstream fake news media would put pressure on Biden to contact Scotland, to contact the United Kingdom, and probably the EU in general, and not allow him to land or to leave his plane and force him to return. I think they would not allow Trump to enter the country unless he went to like someplace without extradition. But if he got on a plane to Scotland, which he does, he's done, they would have a meltdown right now over this. So I don't think it's an accident they took the passports. No. They spent 9 hours going through his things.
But why did they
at
take
Mar-a-Lago?
them?
So he can't leave the country. So
because they want to give the impression
that he's a flight risk.
He's a flight risk.
Why? He could go anywhere he wants. He was president of the United States.
This is just blowing my mind.
You know,
it's like I don't even know what to say about it. It's so insane.
Let me tell you. Okay, I did not talk about this on the radio today because I wanted to think on it a little bit to make sure in my mind. I went to Mar-a-Lago Saturday. I got there about 7:45 in the morning, and if you follow me on YouTube, you saw I did a live stream outside Mar-a-Lago, and then I also made a vlog of the Trump rally at Mar-a-Lago, and I gave a tour of Mar-a-Lago, and there were armed Secret Service with rifles and everything around, which is very unusual, especially because President Trump is not there. It's an empty house right now. It's an empty mansion.
Yeah.
What I did not see, and I didn't bring this up on the radio today, I'm pretty sure, because I wanted to think hard about it to make sure and really think hard on it. When there were 2 demonstrations in support of Donald Trump up there. There was the one that you see on my vlog in front of Mar-a-Lago, okay, at Mar-a-Lago, and that's where I was. 2 miles away in a shopping center parking lot, there was a massive demonstration because they had a parking lot to park in. At Mar-a-Lago, there's only like a dozen parking spaces, right? So it's harder for people to get there. And I got out of the car. I didn't show the second demonstration in favor of Trump because it was raining very hard. And I vlog with my iPhone, and I didn't have an umbrella or anything, and I can't get the phone wet, you know? So I didn't vlog the second one, but I walked through the entire thing. And I was looking for something that I did not see at the Mar-a-Lago protest. This is the first time I've been at any MAGA event, especially at Mar-a-Lago, where there were not Democrat counter-protesters. Okay, there was 0. There was not when I was there, and I was there from about 7:30, 7:45 in the morning till around noon, and then I went to the other one down the street.
Some people drive by.
No. Those were just people driving by. Those were just people that happened to be driving by.
I thought you saw some people the New York Times interviewed.
That was the last time I was there.
Oh, okay.
That was I went to Mar-a-Lago twice last week. Okay, I went the middle of last week. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can't remember if I went Tuesday or Wednesday last week, but I went Tuesday or Wednesday last week, and then I went back Saturday. Okay, and there were Democrats there. Like 5 of them when I went during the middle of the week.
So on Saturday.
But on Saturday,
yeah, right.
Not only is this the first time I've been to, and I've been to a lot of these events at Mar-a-Lago. This is the first time there were not Democrat protesters there. They're always there. And also, this was the first time that I didn't see any of those like undercover looking federal agents that look like MAGA. You know, the 40-year-old, 45-year-olds, they're in a group, they have no beer bellies, and they have haircuts like cops. You know what I'm talking about. So I didn't see any counter protesters at either event, and there were no undercover looking feds, that was the first time ever, and I thought that was unusual, but I wanted to think about it before I talked about it because I wanted to make sure. And but it's true, and that I don't know what that means, but I do if it means anything at all. But I do know this: they did not take President Trump's passports by accident. Those were taken deliberately. They took his passports because they think he's a flight risk. And I'll tell you,
what a disgrace.
Over the weekend and a little bit today, I've been watching some CNN and MSNBC still. And I know a lot of people, why are you watching that? Why are you watching that? Well, because I'm in the news business and I need to know what everyone's saying. But also, if you watch CNN and MSNBC in particular, you get to find out what they're talking about, like at Merrick Garland's office, because they're in the same head towards Trump in this break-in at Mar-a-Lago as he is.
They're getting their information directly from the DOJ and the FBI. They're giving them information to disseminate to the public. And they believe whatever they're being told because they're useful idiots. But whatever they're telling you on CNN and MSNBC is what's happening behind the scenes.
That's right.
And I know you put on CNN today, and I was like, ugh. But I know it's important to watch at the same time because it gives you some more insight into, believe me, trust me, I promise you, Trump watches those too. Okay, Trump
You need to know what the other side's thinking.
He's probably got 3 TVs on, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, because he needs to know what's happening from all angles.
That's right.
And putting your head in the sand is not the way to go. There's plenty of liberals that watch conservative stuff. I mean, like I've said, Meryl Streep watches The Five. Liberals listen to us, watch Brian. Why do you think they do that? A lot of times I feel they like to be angry, but maybe they also feel like they need to know what we're thinking and what we're doing. And it's important to know that. I hate to see so much division. I hate to see people fighting over things like this. And I really would like to see more unity in the country because this is what the government wants. They want us to fight and be at each other's throats over these things. I don't like what's happening with Trump. It's distressing to me what's going on. And I feel like because they're so afraid of him running again, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's like a nightmare. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the more things don't work in their favor, the more frustrated they're going to become, and the more little schemes they're going to try. Well, and every time it gets more and more amped up, more crazy.
You know what?
And they really believe this stuff, these liberals.
You got to watch. Listen, right now, there's a lot of craziness going on. They broke into the home of a president of the United States. And there has not what Garland did last week was not a press conference. He went out and made a statement telling us things we already knew.
Right.
We have not had a press conference from anyone. We've not really been briefed on what they did, what they're thinking, where they're going. They've been, and it's been a week today since the break-in in Mar-a-Lago. So it's almost like an intelligence gathering operation watching MSNBC and CNN in small bits. Because what they're saying is what they're saying over at Merrick Garland's office, what they're saying at the White House behind closed doors that they're not talking about on TV. And you get really and I think we need to understand their perspective on this and where they're going to discuss it. We can all obviously they have nothing on Trump. He did nothing wrong. But we don't
want to live in a bubble like what they do.
That's exactly right.
You don't want to put yourself in this tiny little bubble. And some people that listen, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but some people go to only super fringe places for information. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's your only source of information, you're going to have tunnel vision and you're not going to see what's going on around you.
That's right.
And I think it's really important to, if you really, really want to be well informed. Now, you might say, well, they're lying and this and that. That's not the point. The point is you see, like Brian said, where their head is at. And you see what they're telling everybody.
And the thing about it is,
it's important to know all this and read publications if you really want to be well informed. That's what you got to do.
And you got to understand, okay, these lunatics on MSNBC, those are the ones running the government right now. So, and like Kathy said, their sources are directly from the Department of Justice and the White House. So we need to know where they're coming from, where their head is at. And that's why I'm watching it now. They took his passports because they think he's a flight risk. When I was listening to MSNBC over the weekend, the stuff that the way that they describe President Trump and conservatives it's like on another planet the way they talk about us. Okay, they think that we are a hate group, okay, and need to be stopped. And this is insane. Now,
there's such a it's like being on two different planets.
Yeah.
The way they see things and the way we see things. There's no middle ground. And that's how they want things to be, the government. And it's really frightening when you, like you said, when you listen. But to be fair, when they listen to us, they think the same thing. They think
but they're wrong.
I understand that. But they think they're crazy and it's scary. They're scary how they're thinking. and we think the same thing about them. And I just don't know if we'll ever get to that place where we're meeting in the middle and we come to some kind of common ground as Americans.
It's not going to happen.
The left want to divide everybody and put everybody in a box. And you're black, so you're this. You're Asian, you're that. Nobody's just American. We just can't have the same American values. They don't even believe in our American values anymore. I mean, they took the pledge out of Fargo. They're going to do it in other schools. They don't believe in our American values anymore. Democrats used to be that way. You had the Democrats and Kennedy and Jimmy Carter, even Bill Clinton. It was very patriotic. Nobody accused him of being. He loved America. He loves America.
I wouldn't go that far. Are you okay, Kathy? You okay? I don't know about that.
You think Bill Clinton doesn't love this country?
No. Look at what his wife and them did. No, I don't think so. No, but
not like the people today.
But Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton was.
I never heard him talk like this.
At the time,
he seems conservative compared to these people.
At the time he was president, if you look at how he was then,
they've gone off the rails.
Okay, he was almost like a Reagan-like conservative compared to the Democrats of today that have been taken over by radicals.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, the people that are running the government right now are extremely radical.
It's frightening.
People. There's no doubt about it. But the thing is this. The Clintons and all these other Democrats have been pulled into that. Now, we're going to take a break, and I want to tell you about My Pillow. And, Mike Lindell is persecuted just as much as Trump in so many ways. We talk about this. It's terrible what they've done. All Mike Lindell has wanted to do was give people a great night's sleep and support President Trump. And they've been trying to put him out of business, and they work pretty hard at it. He's been kicked out of all these stores, Walmart, Bed Bath & Beyond, Kohl's, many others, all the home shopping channels in the United States and Canada, as well as retailers in Canada. It's very difficult to maintain a business that way. Plus, he is personally being sued. His company is being sued for billions with a B dollars. And they will not rest. And Mike Lindell has not laid off a single employee, not a single employee from his facility in Minnesota. And he's been able to do that because you all out there support My Pillow. And if you would like to support Mike Lindell and this program and all the content I bring you, which is, of course, our podcast that I do with Kathy, the radio show, the YouTube channel, everything any content I'm a part of, if you want to support that and support Mike Lindell at the same time, go to mypillow.com and buy something using our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. There are huge deals and savings. And because they were dropped by Walmart, Mike Lindell has extended a lot of the specials, which what you're getting right now is everything at wholesale price. When you use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, you're getting the price that Walmart would have paid, okay? And he's doing this because he's trying to keep his company afloat and his workers working and not lay anyone off. And there are great deals. There's over a dozen items that are buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. I want to tell you guys, though, about the My Pillow bathrobes right now. Kathy and I each have a My Pillow bathrobe. They come in many different colors, and there's two different types. There's the heavy and the light robe. We have the heavy robe, but they also have a light robe at My Pillow. And it is 30% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. You'll love it. I love mine. Kathy loves hers. And like everything else Mike Lindell makes, it's a very high quality. You wash it, you dry it like all the other My Pillow products, and it's like new when it came to your door each and every day. So, again, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com using our promo code KANE, KANE at checkout. Over a dozen items, buy one, get one free, including the My Pillow sheets, towels, and many other items. But the My Pillow bathrobe, which is makes a great gift, by the way, the My Pillow bathrobe, 30% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. All right, now let me play this clip of Steve Doocy from Fox and Friends this morning. Now, I know none of you watch Fox and Friends because that's when I'm on the radio and you're all listening to me on the radio, right?
Absolutely.
I don't watch Fox and Friends on television because I'm on the radio then. I don't know if I've ever seen I will watch it on the weekends sometimes, okay? Not every weekend, but sometimes.
Your show's much better. You're not missing much. And they've gone to the dark side big time on Fox and Friends. I mean, really,
this
really
is
bad.
Yeah, this is the weekday Fox and Friends, right? You got Steve Doocy, Brian Kilmeade, and Hannity's girlfriend. I don't
think Brian Kilmeade is comfortable with the direction the show is going.
He doesn't seem comfortable here with this.
He seems like a Trump guy, and he's got his own radio show. And ever since what happened is they said something that Trump didn't like. They put up a poll that he didn't like that wasn't accurate, and he attacked them. And ever since that happened, they've really gone after him.
It's like Morning Joe over there
and
now.
I don't think Brian is happy at all with what's going on.
So let me play this clip. This is Steve Doocy.
Yeah, this is insane.
And I saw this on social media, and it had a clip and it had like a description of what it was, and I didn't believe that this could be happening, that this could have been said by Steve Doocy.
No, it's really bad.
Until I heard it. So you guys are going to hear it right now. So this is Steve Doocy this morning talking about President Trump and the break-in at Mar-a-Lago a week ago today. Listen to this.
We just know that right now, given the fact that there is a suggestion that there are a lot of online, apparently very specific threats against very specific agents at the FBI and whatnot, it would be great for everybody to tamp down the rhetoric against the FBI, because the FBI simply was doing what the DOJ asked them to do. The Attorney General is the boss of the guy at the FBI, of all the people at the FBI. So,
okay, now if you're hearing some thunder,
perfect timing.
Yeah, it really. It is hurricane and rainy season. We're in Florida. We live in the tropics, so that thunder was just because it's raining, because it rains every day.
We didn't add that in for effect, even though it works really well.
No, so let me go back, because I don't know if it was loud enough to drown this out. So let me rewind this a little bit. Again, this is Steve Doocy, Fox and Friends this morning.
It'd be great for everybody to tamp down the rhetoric against the FBI, because the FBI simply was doing what the DOJ asked them to do. The Attorney General is the boss of the guy at the FBI, of all the people at the FBI. So, with all of these threats going around, it would ultimately be great if the former president, who has always been a great supporter of law enforcement, has posed with 1,000 police departments coast to coast. It would be great if he called for an end to the violent rhetoric against federal law enforcement, and in particular, the FBI that was just doing their job.
Okay. Wow. Now, a couple things here with Steve Doocy. Boy, oh boy. One, he's defending the break-in, and I love his defense. They were just following orders. Yeah, that's not a good defense, and that
didn't work out well at Nuremberg.
No, this just following orders thing. But notice what they're doing here. Okay, they're making the FBI victims here for some strange reason, and if some lunatic says something, Trump's responsible for it. This is what they always try to do on the left, and now we got Fox News' Steve Doocy doing this. They always try to get President Trump to condemn someone or something, and what that implies is that these are his followers, that he's inspired it, and none of that is true. Okay, let me tell you something. I was around some of the most passionate Trump supporters at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday for hours and hours. Mm-hmm. I was up there in the middle of last week as well for hours and hours. And I know a lot of you guys watch me on YouTube. And so I live streamed from Mar-a-Lago the middle of last week. I live streamed Saturday morning, did the vlog. I know you guys have seen it. These people are peaceful. They just love President Trump. They're peacefully showing their support. There's no violence. There's no nothing like that going on. And you know what? No one's even talking that way. In fact, the MAGA people go out of their way to be cool. Okay? Like when I was there in the middle of last week and there were those Democrats there that were agitating, no one got into it with them and even started yelling at them. They got in my face a couple times trying to get me to fight with them. No one, they said, I know what they're here for. I don't want anything to do with that. Steve Doocy, shame on you. And I know a lot of people will say, well, who's watching Fox? Millions of people are watching Fox. They're number one in cable news. We were talking about this last week. I don't watch too much cable news, okay? I've only been watching these liberal things over the weekend to kind of feel the pulse of the lefties on this break-in, right? But like I told you guys last week, if you listen to this program, you listen to and watch things that come via the internet. You're not a television watcher. Millions and millions of people are watching this. And Fox News, this might as well be Jim Acosta or Brian Stelter.
I was sickened.
Right?
I was sickened when you played that earlier.
It's disgusting.
And I almost didn't even want to talk about it. I was so sickened by it.
Yeah.
Because you're right. What they're doing is, I mean, Steve Ducey should hide his head in shame for saying something like that. So you get, I don't know if there's threats or not. They're saying there are. I haven't seen anything, I don't see anybody making any threats or anything like that. Maybe you got one or two people tweeting something. Who the hell knows who they are? They could be liberals for all we know. They could be somebody that works for the New York Times or knows somebody and they tweet something and boom, they got a story. And then they run with it. And now you got people on Fox who are just coming out with no evidence of anything and just stating basically that now there's all these threats and we have to stop, and he's basically saying is that MAGA is threatening the FBI. That's basically what he's saying. And that Trump is responsible, and Trump needs to tell his supporters, just like January 6th, to calm down, to tone it down. Again, they blame everything on Trump. Trump's responsible. And that just made me sick to hear him say that, because it's totally reckless, irresponsible, and very bad for him to say anything like that. And
no doubt.
To give an impression that there's any kind of threat or any kind of problem going on here. That's not what's happening at all. It's okay to be upset about something. You're allowed to be upset about something. They're getting to a place where it's like, if we're even upset about anything or show support by going to Mar-A-Lago or anything, all of a sudden that's a threat. I mean, give me a break. And then for him to come out and say that validates it. And for him to come out and say Trump needs to say, don't do it. You're right. It's giving the same impression that he has to talk to his minions and he has to calm us down. And he better not do that, Trump, because if he does that, he's playing right into their hands.
He knows what he's doing.
He's playing right into their hands. There's no threat. There's no problem. There's nothing going on. People can be upset about it. And even Democrats are not happy about what happened. I've seen them on TV that it's an overreach. That's not a threat to be upset about what they did. We're entitled to be a little upset about it and to question it and not be happy about it. And there's no calls for violence or anything like that.
The opposite.
That's a complete
being called for.
Lie.
Yeah.
Complete lie.
Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Would you like to be a part of the next crypto trend? Then go to AntarcticLands.org and take a look at Antarctic AAL Token. It's launching September 15th, 2022. Sign up to receive 100 free Antarctic AAL tokens. Request citizenship now before it's too late. There's only a limited quota of free AAL tokens, so hurry up. AAL is a global project of the Antarctic Lands Organization that aims to use cryptocurrencies and blockchain to support and develop green activities and environmental protection. What are you waiting for? Play your role in saving Antarctica. Apply for free citizenship and help prevent Antarctica from becoming the victim of an environmental tragedy. AntarcticLands.org. That's AntarcticLands.org. If you have a passion for food, there are two guys you will want to know. The Wandering Food Dudes. Located in Seattle, Washington, these two awesome foodies are on the hunt for the most awesome food in the world. Their goal is to travel the globe and help small businesses and people by showcasing their culture and their food. Join Fish and Poetic on their food adventures. You can find them on YouTube and Instagram. They love all things food and have a great time talking about it and eating it. Check them out right now. The Wandering Food Dudes on YouTube and Instagram. Are your mornings ready for an upgrade? The Morning Upgrade Podcast with Ryan Cote is all about personal development. By having a strong morning routine, you can change your life for the better. In fact, the right morning can be the catalyst to success and growth in your life. It's all about investing in yourself and personal growth in the right direction, making positive changes in your morning routine to get the results in life that you want. Striving to be a better version of yourself is a goal that never should end. We all need to work on improving ourselves. being our best selves impacts everyone around us. And it starts with the right attitude and the right morning routine. Add the Morning Upgrade podcast to your podcast playlist. Available on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcast player, and morningupgrade.com. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter, The Morning Upgrade Podcast with Ryan Cote.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast you're listening to, we are on all podcast platforms. All of them. And we also upload this podcast to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube. All right, so Kari Lake had a rally with Ron DeSantis over the weekend.
Oh, what a great, that's the 2028 ticket right there. That's what I'm predicting.
They don't want to give her any publicity. They're terrified of Kari Lake.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they hate Kari Lake like the plague. These people, the liberals, are terrified because she's the future. She's charismatic. She's the next Trump. And they're so terrified of her, they don't want to give her TV time. No. And she went on a bit of a talk, which I'm going to play here, where she talks about President Trump and Ron DeSantis, and she used a description that, I mean, I'm not going to say what. You'll hear it. Then you'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
And I am shocked to hear her. No, it's fine, but it's just not something you hear politicians that are running for office say things like this. This is pretty amazing. So let me play this. This is Kari Lake, and this is over the weekend at the rally she did with Governor Ron DeSantis, our governor here in Florida, but this was out in Arizona.
He's right up there right now, and his name is Governor Ron DeSantis. I don't know if he's looking down here, but he's up there in that room, and we appreciated him. All right, I'm going to tell you a little bit. I just got to spend time with him. Love the guy. Fantastic. He is gutsy. The guy has bigger... Okay. Wait, let me think about how I want to word this. My staff always says, whatever you do, do not say balls. So I'm not going to say it. That guy...
I love
has
it.
a backbone made of steel.
There you go.
I'll tell you what he's got. I don't know if you heard of this, but he's got BDE. Anybody know what that means?
Oh, yeah.
Ask your kids about it later.
Okay. Now,
she uses that phrase all the time. I've seen her put it on Truth.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, big dick energy.
Well, I wasn't going to say that.
Kim Kardashian says it all the time.
I wasn't going to use the word.
Oh, well, we'll go there.
But Kathy just said it. I'm not going to say it, but that's what she said. Yeah, so
she doesn't mean Richard Nixon.
And you know, it's an interesting
Richard.
thing to say because she's running for governor.
Yeah,
and
she likes that
phrase. This was over the weekend. I'll play the rest of it. It hasn't really made the news that she said this.
Yeah,
because they don't want to give her publicity, and this is how tough she is. This is the kind of thing that they would usually use to discredit a Republican, and the fact that she's a female to say this about a male is it's unusual, and the media they're afraid of her. But let me play the rest of it.
I'm going to take a different take. I think they're.
I love it.
I'm not saying they're not afraid of her, but I think they're not telling you about it because that's a very popular phrase with young people.
Is it?
Oh yes, and it means when you say somebody has BDE. It means that they have major confidence and they give off a vibe where they, Trump's got it too, where they take no prisoners.
Yeah.
Balls of steel and they're just super confident. It's like the alpha male, the ultimate alpha. Mm-hmm. And they use it all the time. It means that they got that energy. They walk in a room. It's got a sexual connotation. They got that energy.
Well, especially from a woman.
Like they got it all going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they got that energy, meaning I got it and I know it and I got confidence. You get it.
All right, let me play the rest of it.
So it's a very, very popular phrase with young people.
I've never really heard it before.
No, it's big.
I guess I'm
Yeah, you're out of it, I guess. And so I think they don't want to give her the publicity because it might make her seem cool to the young people.
Well, she is cool. She's Carrie
that's
Lake.
what I'm saying. So they don't want people to think she's cool.
She is cool. All right, let's play the rest of it.
I'll tell you what he's got. I don't know if you heard of this, but he's got BDE. Anybody know what that means? Ask your kids about it later.
The kids know.
I call it Big DeSantis energy.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
He's got the same kind of BDE that President Trump has.
Exactly.
And frankly, he has the same kind of BDE that we want all of our elected leaders to have.
He loves that phrase.
I can just see it right now. All the middle-aged ladies, such as myself, are on Google going, what does BDE mean?
Wait till you find out.
For the moms out there, I'm really sorry that I threw that out. So, you see, Governor DeSantis took that Trump strength and that Trump energy, and he brought it to his home state during COVID. And he showed America what it means to have a governor who's a fighter, who will defend our freedom and not sell us out. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for that.
And okay, now I did have to Google BDE.
I guess I'm more hip than you.
I don't follow Kim Kardashian as closely as you do.
Well, I've heard it from other people too.
I've not heard that before.
I don't follow Kim Kardashian.
Okay, but I did Google it.
But Emily likes them a lot.
And it's an interesting thing because if someone like Hillary or Kamala would have used that, everybody would be having meltdowns. And why not Carrie Lake? And I'll tell you why. It's not because she's a Republican. It's because Carrie Lake is a much better woman than Kamala and Hillary because she actually got to where she is on her own through hard work. Hillary Clinton got where she was through family connections, through her family that were all in with the Ayers family, and her husband was president, okay? So she's been on Bill's coattails, and we all know how Willie Brown's girlfriend got to where she is.
And you know what?
Everybody knows it.
And you know how you know? Because Carrie Lake, and you know how you know she made it on her own, because Carrie Lake has a confidence that they do not have. They fake it, but she's got it for real.
Yeah, they fake it.
She has got that confidence that you cannot.
She's like cackling all the time.
You cannot get by sleeping your way to the top.
It's the it factor and charisma.
That's right. She has the confidence that she earned from her accomplishments, from her actual work. From people trying to put her down and fighting to get to her position. And that's what builds confidence in a person. Hillary and Kamala never fought to have anything. Everything was handed to those two women. So they don't have that confidence. They might fake it and pretend. But if Hillary Clinton said BDE, she'd look like an idiot. It would not sound even close to as cool as coming, because Hillary's not cool. Carrie Lake is very cool.
And you know what?
She can come across saying that and get away with it, and it sounds awesome.
And you know what? She can say something that has a sexual context to it as a woman because she's confident.
And
she's
fun.
She's
Exactly.
attractive, but mostly because she's confident. Kamala Harris couldn't pull something off like that
Not without giggling.
because everyone thinks that she slept her way to where she's at, and she
Exactly.
knows that
And she
everybody
knows
looks at her
that's
that
right.
way.
No,
and
she's got it.
and
They don't.
That's amazing
for sure.
And I'll tell you something here. Carrie Lake and Ron DeSantis, you can tell.
That's a dream team.
You can tell already that they're thinking about being running mates in 2020.
It's going to happen. That's my prediction.
You can
I've said
tell
it
by
before.
the
I've said it before. She's got to win, though. She's got to win. So you got to make sure you get out and vote for her in Arizona. Don't believe any polls, no matter what they tell you. Just get out and vote for her, because we need her to win, or she's not going to have any future in politics.
Yeah.
She has got to win this election.
Now tomorrow are two big days, right?
Oh, yes.
We've got Liz Cheney's primary, and then we got this race in Alaska. And
Murkowski.
Let's talk. Well, no, the Sarah Palin.
Yeah, but Murkowski
race
too.
and Murkowski. There's
Yeah,
two
very
races
important.
in Alaska. I'm going to tell you this, okay? Even though Liz Cheney is 32, 33 points behind, that poll is completely meaningless. Not because I don't follow polls typically, but that poll that has Liz Cheney 32 or 33 points behind is a poll of likely Republican voters, and this operation that Cheney is running out there to get Democrats to vote for her, and a lot of them are talking about doing that.
Oh, a lot of them have.
This Wyoming primary is not a home run for us. If you're in Wyoming, you've got to vote and get everyone you know to vote.
Don't get comfortable thinking she's 30 points ahead. I don't need to bother, because they said on the news they've had 10,000 new registered Republicans. Some of those, a lot of those could be Democrats. They
That's
have
right.
this thing where this is the kind of scum she is. She is willing to do anything to win, even beg Democrats to vote for her and switch parties to vote for her. And a lot of them, they think, have registered as Republicans to help her win the primary. You don't know what's going on. So please, please, everybody, no matter where you are, vote, vote, vote. That is the only way that this is going to happen. I want to see her and Murkowski lose tomorrow, and Sarah Palin win. We need the trifecta here.
Yeah, and so in Wyoming,
vote.
Don't think it's a home run because of that poll. That poll is of likely Republicans, not these Democrats that are switching. And these Democrats, people forget, they have short memories, and when Dick Cheney was vice president, the Democrats wanted him and President George W. Bush arrested, like they're trying to do with Trump now. Yeah, flown to the World Court at The Hague and have them tried for war crimes.
Now they're their heroes.
Yeah, and they called him Darth Vader, they called him Hitler, and now they're out there voting for his daughter in Wyoming, Ava Braun.
I tell you.
It's like, from their viewpoint, it's like voting for Hitler's daughter.
They just want all Republicans. Now, with that case, they should have been in jail for war crimes, and I never agreed with the Iraq War. In fact, Brian and I used to argue about this, and then he finally saw the light and realized that it was a war that was completely unnecessary. I did vote for GW reluctantly, because I always vote Republican no matter what, but that was an unnecessary war. But anyway, Liz Cheney, they hate her like poison up there. I mean, I've seen maybe one person that's going to vote for her. Everybody they interview, nope, we hate her. But if she wins, it's because the Democrats registered and helped her.
Yeah. Now,
so please vote.
Now, this thing in Alaska,
scary.
I'm not going to get into the details of this thing in Alaska because it's very confusing, which is the whole point of it. But they have this weighted voting system where you vote. You vote for your first choice. There's three people on these ballots, right? Or you vote for your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice. And if one doesn't get over 50%, the second choice and the third, it's your second choice is added. It's very confusing. So Wyoming and Alaska, these races where Trump has endorsed, Chewbacca as the woman who's running in Alaska, and she's a white, blonde Republican woman who's married to an African man, and I don't mean African American. Her husband is actually from Africa. She's in an interracial marriage, has interracial children.
Very pretty.
You wouldn't know it because they don't want people to know anything about her. But and this Sarah Palin race, if these races do not turn out the way we want them, do not be discouraged. President Trump still has almost 200 primary victories already,
but they're very important.
And these are very important because all the races are important, but these are extra important because they're high-profile people. But there are things going on in Alaska and Wyoming that make it a crapshoot. Okay?
Plus, Liz Cheney will not win the election. So it's very selfish of her. Yeah. She doesn't care. She knows she will not win the general election. Yeah, they hate her there.
These Democrats that are voting for her in the primary will vote for the Democrat in the general.
She's not going to win, but she doesn't care. She doesn't want to do what's best for the state. She doesn't care. She should say, look, instead of playing around with this, she should, if she really was a person of integrity.
No, she's not.
Which she is not. Clearly, neither is her father. She would be like, whoever wins, great, whatever. I just want a Republican to win that seat. That's the most important thing, is a Republican wins the final election. If she wins this primary, she's not going to win the election. Not going to happen. Nobody will go out and vote for her. Nobody.
No. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you to all of you. And, Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And there are other perks, too. Sometimes Kathy and I on occasion do Patreon-exclusive podcast episodes, and there's other exclusive content that Patreon supporters have access to. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode, and also have their first names listed in the description of each and every podcast episode as well. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, and Lay Paul. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode to our Patreon page. Okay, so click that and it'll walk you through on how to take care of that. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
The new book from author Daniel Castlereich is now available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Helix Mysteries, The First Change. An ancient galaxy gateway is about to reopen. Its emergence will transform the Earth. But while creatures of myth and legend struggle to find their place in the modern world, an enemy patiently waits across the stars. Terrified and confused as the first human to evolve, Sam seeks help from the only person who won't run in horror, Emily. But the more they learn about Sam's transformation, the more they realize how little humanity knows about itself. As Sam's evolution progresses, more and more people begin to evolve. The quest to become normal is quickly sidelined by the need to simultaneously broker peace and prepare for war. Thrust into a top-secret military unit, Sam and Emily must work together to prepare for an enemy seeking to end life as we know it. If you love sci-fi and fantasy with lots of action, you will love Helix Mysteries, The First Change, from author Daniel Castlereich, available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Have you ever wondered what life's like for a first responder? Maybe you've thought about a career as a police officer or professional firefighter. Are you a first responder or just searching for a fun and interesting podcast to add to your playlist? Then check out Code 0.5. Hosts Jason and Rich have over 15 years of experience as first responders, and they have amazing stories to tell. Code 0.5 revolves around the host careers in law enforcement, fire, and as medics. Topics range from bizarre 911 calls to memorable arrests that they will never forget. Add Code 0.5 to your podcast playlist right now. Available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. From author Christian Rhodes comes your next must-read book, The Book of Wonders, the first book in the Casey Tresser's Fairy Tale Odyssey book series. After reuniting with his long-lost baby sister, 16-year-old teenage gaming YouTube star Casey Tresser discovers he comes from a fairy tale video game and finds an opportunity to reunite with his long-lost family through the game when he's moved from his home to a small town in Paris, France, but only to discover that the town where his family have taken refuge in is now being plagued by organized criminals who so happen to be an evil army of demons out to kill him to prevent a prophecy the teenager is a part of. The Book of Wonders from author Christian Rhodes is available on Wattpad. You can read it as it's being written. This is a fantasy sci-fi novel that's heavy on mystery. Check it out right now. Go to Wattpad.com and search for The Book of Wonders from author Christian Rhodes. And visit the website CaseyTresser.com and sign up for updates.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. You know, there's been a lot of talk by us and others over the past year or two about how TikTok, which is China, are waging a major culture war against this country. You know, Cold War isn't really the word to use. I mean, we're not on the battlefield, so I guess Cold War is what you get. there's a Cold War situation going on with China that is so serious on so many levels. I'm not going to go through a Hannity list of all the things. You know what they are. But a lot of it's being done through TikTok, and they are really, truly changing our culture. And I saw a story on National Public Radio, and this is what I'm talking about, how, you know, I follow liberal sources sometimes so you can find out what's going on. Listen to this. This is completely insane. And I just can't believe that people are doing this. This is NPR. This is on their website. More people are opting to get sterilized. That's the headline. In July, a handful of people gathered in the shade of a large pine tree in Helena, Montana, for a going-away party of sorts. Their friend Danny was going to have her fallopian tubes removed. It was a decision she had made after a draft of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was leaked to the press. The small group kicked off the sterilization shower that they got a name for, sterilization shower, for the 25-year-old by laying out chalk-written signs that said, "See you later, ovulator," and "I got 99 problems, but tubes ain't one." They munched on cookies that had abortion rights slogans on them, such as "My Body, My Choice." They were written on in frosting. Danny is a full-time graduate student in Helena, working towards becoming a therapist. She should be the patient. Would you go to therapy? Would you go to? Would you want this to be your therapist?
Well, I, for one, am glad she's getting sterilized, because can you imagine this woman having children?
She doesn't want kids to get in the way of her career. She had considered permanent sterilization before, but the possibility that the Supreme Court would overturn Roe v. Wade pushed her to seek out an OB/GYN who would help her with a permanent method of contraception. Now, I don't know where medical ethics play into this, but that doesn't seem ethical for a doctor to take out the tubes like this on a healthy patient. I'm going to take a totally
different tact on this.
Well, let me finish it and then do your thing, okay?
Because I totally disagree with you on this one.
She said, "I want to do this as soon as possible," she told her doctor. "I always knew I didn't want children." And of course, when you say that as a younger person, everyone is like, "Oh, you'll change your mind, or just wait until you find the one." I always got kind of ignored. Abortion is still legal where she lives in Montana. Whether it remains so is unclear, okay, because they've made some moves. Now, this sterilization party thing that's going on is being celebrated through TikTok and other liberal places. And the reason I mentioned China in the beginning is TikTok, the impact that TikTok has over the under 30s in this country cannot even be measured. And so much has been pushed through the China-owned TikTok, right? The sterilization thing, the 87 genders, and all these other things that is having an impact on the people of childbearing years in our country like nothing ever has had. When we were young, people were concerned that kids were watching too much television, and we probably were. But what was on television wasn't what's on TikTok. You understand what I mean? It was like pretty dry and boring compared to what's going on now. And China has waged this cultural attack on our society that's been very successful.
I'm going to say this. Having a party is weird for that. I don't think having a party is normal for something like that. People have abortion parties, which is truly sickening.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I've seen that on TikTok, too. People follow trends, and you're right. TikTok is dangerous because it really encourages following trends. People follow all kinds of challenges and trends and things on there. Some of them are dangerous. And you get sucked in. I got sucked into TikTok for about 3 months last year, and I had to pull myself out of it. It's very, very addicting. But I'm going to say I commend this woman, because here's a woman who knows she does not want to have children, which is her right. And she is being responsible. I think she should be applauded. She does not want to have children. She's adamant. So she is going the step of sterilizing herself, which is her right to do, and doctors do it, and she is avoiding there was the problem of possibly getting pregnant and having to deal with an abortion. And she is taking that step to prevent that. So in a way, she's kind of pro-life, whether she realizes it or not, because she's taking this drastic measure so she never has to make that choice. So she never has to terminate her pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. I applaud her. Some might see it as extreme, but she is trying to avoid being in that situation where she might have to get an abortion, or where she's in a situation where she's worried she can't get an abortion. That's probably more where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But I applaud her for her decision. I think she's taking responsibility. She's strange. She's kooky. The party's weird.
Yeah.
But she is taking charge. This is what it means to make a choice before another person is involved. She is doing that. She is making the choice about her body, which is fine, but it does not involve a baby. And that's what these pro-abortion...
Well, it's better than an abortion.
Well, that's what these pro-abortion
Of course.
people love to say is, it's my body, my choice. No, it's not about you anymore. There's another body involved. She is taking the step where it does only involve her body. And I applaud her for that. I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a liberal, and I'm sure we would not hang out together. And having a party strange, like I said. But she's taking a drastic step to avoid being put in that
But you know what, Kathy?
situation.
Look at what's going on,
So
though.
she is.
Look at this.
I
Okay.
understand what you're
If
saying,
you
but
look at-
maybe she doesn't want kids.
Look at what they're doing, the Chinese, through TikTok. They're causing people to...
You don't know that. She said she's never wanted
to
children.
mutilate their bodies, right? She's having her tubes taken out of a
It's
healthy
not a
body.
mutilation.
Kids are getting sex change operations at young ages. They're
I
taking
wouldn't
puberty
compare the
blockers.
two. I wouldn't
They're,
compare the
they're,
two.
No, this peer pressure that's going on social media.
Well, yeah, there's definitely that.
is causing people under the age
But
of
dare
30
they-
to mutilate their bodies.
Is she doing this because of a TikTok trend? She
Yeah.
said she said that. She said maybe the party is a TikTok trend, but she said
Yeah.
she's never wanted kids.
Why else would she have the party?
Well, the party is weird. I agree with you on that, and it might encourage behavior, which is
you know
not
what?
good.
You know, she's so out of control sexually, she can't control herself.
I guess
she can't
not.
take birth
Now
control.
she'll be free to screw whoever the hell she wants.
Oh,
And live free and like I said, it's her. Hey, I don't care. I'm more libertarian in that way. If she wants to do that and deal with the repercussions down the road and have God one day look at her and say, why'd you sleep around so much and all this? Fine, that's her prerogative. I'm glad that she's such a kook that she's not going to have children, and I'm glad that she's made the decision ahead of time so she won't have to have an abortion. So good for her, because you
No,
know what? That
it's-
woman should not have children. And she's saving a lot. She's avoiding that whole situation.
Kids and adults, young adults, and I, by the way, when I talk about young adults, I don't mean high school kids like creepy liberals. I mean people that are like in their 20s and early 30s, young adults. Young adults and children are getting put into these peer pressure like fads, whether it's
No, I agree with
this or
you.
different
It's weird.
genders.
It's weird.
And some of these are irreversible, life-changing
I
things.
agree. I think having the party is weird. And I think if she did it because it's a trend, that's stupid.
Like if a guy gets
But
a
if she
vasectomy,
did it-
it's reversible.
Right. But if she did it because she really, really has never wanted children and she is wants to avoid being put in that situation, then I say good for her.
But Kathy, this is what I don't get.
It's better than having an abortion.
This is what I don't get. She's having her tubes removed. Isn't there a procedure where they tie them like they do like a vasectomy?
Well, that might be what she's getting done.
No,
getting her tubes tied.
she's getting them removed. It's in the interview. She's having them removed.
Well, then I think
if they're tied, they can be untied.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works down there.
This is crazy. Well, let us know in the comments.
I mean,
what
she's
you
not having
think,
a full
guys.
hysterectomy.
Pretty close.
That would be kind of no, because that's when you get all your, or I've had a
She can't be
hysterectomy. You get
pregnant
all
now.
your organs removed.
She'll never be able to get pregnant.
No, but
now.
she'll still get her period. She'll still have her hormones and all that stuff, her estrogen and all that. So she's not having a full hysterectomy, which might be extreme. But I think getting this procedure done, like I said, tell us what you guys think. Maybe I sound nuts, but if she does not want to have children, I applaud her for being responsible about it and doing something to avoid getting pregnant and and then ending up having an abortion.
Yeah. Well, listen, everyone, we're going to sign off for today. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. We will talk to you next time.
Would you like to be a part of the next crypto trend? Then go to AntarcticLands.org and take a look at Antarctic AAL Token. It's launching September 15th, 2022. Sign up to receive 100 free Antarctic AAL tokens. Request citizenship now before it's too late. There's only a limited quota of free AAL tokens, so hurry up. AAL is a global project of the Antarctic Lands Organization that aims to use cryptocurrencies and blockchain to support and develop green activities and environmental protection. What are you waiting for? Play your role in saving Antarctica. Apply for free citizenship and help prevent Antarctica from becoming the victim of an environmental tragedy. AntarcticLands.org. That's AntarcticLands.org.